Alright, so this is TriforceLink205, otherwise known as Jab Nib Seb, otherwise known as Jacob Bennett. I have another channel on here for music. This is not a music channel. This is fanfiction. This is not the first video I'm recording for this channel, but it is the first one I'm going to be uploading. What this is the first chapter of the Teen Titans writers' story. This is the one we actually are working on together, and this is the first chapter. This is the one I wrote, so it's weird reading this because I didn't think I would end up reading a story of my own, but I am now. So what are you gonna do? But this story is titled As You Were, and the other people working on it are Jody Jello Cube. She wrote the second chapter, and then there's K Bunny 10. She wrote the third chapter. The Inspector of Fluff, he wrote the fourth chapter. Rhett the Brat Prince, he wrote / is writing the fifth chapter. And then Harmonious Wolf, who had to take a leave of absence for a little while, so someone else is going to have to write the sixth chapter, but she will be writing for us at some point. So this is what I wrote, and it's actually pretty fun, pretty interesting, and at the same time pretty scary, because my stories are usually, each chapter is in my hands, which also means each chapter takes 3 months or longer to write, and then get posted. But there's 5 other people on this team with me, and now it's not so much of, I have to write this next chapter. It's, gosh, I can't wait until someone else writes the next chapter so I can read it and then be amazed at what their story is becoming. And it's a really cool experience. So anyway, before I get started reading, I'm going to put an annotation with our username on fanfiction, and all of the other team members' usernames on fanfiction. Because I reached out to them to do this because they're awesome. They are phenomenal writers, each and every one of them, and we all write different kinds of stuff, so having us come together and have to write a story that flows was pretty cool. But anyway, so yeah, you're gonna have the team on one side and then all 6 of us on the other. So, but anyways, I'm gonna get started reading the story. So here you go. This is the first chapter of As You Were by the Teen Titans writers. Rich Grayson sighed as he walked into the bar. It was a new place, but he figured he would give it a shot. Taking in the scenery, he noticed that it was very sleek and technological looking. Glancing at the clock, he saw that it was late, 1 in the morning to be exact. He sighed as he realized that the fights were running later every night. He had told himself, as well as his fiancée, that he would be coming home earlier from now on. He just couldn't resist the adrenaline they filled him with. He missed his teenage years with the Titans. He chuckled bitterly as he remembered the night the team broke up, due to his own ego and stupidity. We seem to be entering a flashback. Interesting. By the way, some of this stuff is better if you're reading the story, because there's humor there that I can't capture with just voice. Robin's breathing came heavy as he dodged a swift attack from the thug he had cornered in the alley on another late-night excursion he kept secret from the team. He grunted as he knocked the man unconscious with a quick punch to the jaw, wincing in pain as the gash in his side that the man's knife had made stretched when he moved. He was walking out of the alley when he saw a green streak race past him, then stop a few feet away, giving him time to see that it was Beast Boy, shifted into a small cat, only to turn around and walk towards him. Shifting back into himself, he glared at Robin. Dude! What were you thinking? Running off at like... Sigh! Turning around, Robin saw that the rest of his team Robin saw that the rest of his team was walking towards him, and had no choice but to be slightly afraid, as even Starfire was glaring at him. It's 2:15 in the flipping morning, Bird Brain. What on earth were you doing? Cyborg yelled, waving his arms wildly to emphasize his anger. Robin, I'm very disappointed in you. You could have been injured, or worse, killed. Why would you do this to us? I thought we were your team. Your family. Starfire looked at him with a look that was akin to having just watched him spit on her mother's grave. Sadness, anger, disgust. He felt like dying just knowing she felt that way. Raven seemed indifferent to the whole situation, but when he looked at her and caught her eye, he noticed a sad tint in her eyes, and a certain tilt in her head as she shook it disapprovingly at him that told him she was upset with him. Beast Boy just looked at the sky, muttering, "Dude, why on earth?" He looked at Nyx, who had remained silent up until now. She started to walk over to him, looked him in the eyes, and raised her hand, then closed it, turned around and walked away, heading towards the tower, the rest of the team following. "Guys, come on. I was only taking care of a couple of small-timers. They're criminals. I didn't think it was worth waking you up." His team turned around. Cyborg stepped forward. "Man, we're a team. I know it was hard for you to get that in the beginning, but I thought you had kind of gotten over that in the past, 7 years. I guess not, though. Look, we need a leader. When you're ready to be that again, let us know. We'll let you pack, but I'm taking over the team. Robin..." "Dick, you're no longer a Titan. I'm sorry." Robin looked at them as they walked away. He walked over to his R-cycle and raced past them, going to the tower to pack. When they got there, he had left nothing but an odd quietness and emptiness about the entire tower. "Back to the bar." Because that's the only way I can even halfway come close to emulating the humor that was supposed to be instilled with my line breaks that I made. He sighed again as he sat down on the stool, calling at the bartender for a good bottle of beer. The tender slowed his movement for a second, almost turning around before grabbing a bottle of Heineken, turning around and seeking the customer who asked for it. Upon seeing Rich, he stopped. "Hey, Dick," he called over the bar. Rich looked up at hearing the seldom used abbreviation of his name, only to see the bartender looking back at him. After a few seconds, realization dawned on him, and he smiled. "Vic! Hey man, how you been? I guess I should have known you would be here, seeing that the place is named after you." Vic just blinked, then opened his beer and handed it to him, then walked away to tend to the other customers. Rich was a little shocked at this reaction, but shrugged it off and took a drink. He stayed in the bar for a few more hours until Vic announced the last call, then he walked outside waiting for him to close up. After a few minutes, all of the customers had left, and Vic walked out of the bar and locked the door. He turned around and jumped, startled at the sight of Rich waiting beside the door. "Man, what are you doing here?" "I came to get a drink." "I figured that, but you only had the one beer. Why didn't you leave?" "I saw you. I haven't seen you in years." "You left us. You kicked me off the team. I thought you would come back. You said when I was ready to be a leader again. You never felt ready to lead us again? I never felt worthy." Vic stopped and stared at him. "What?" Rich sighed. I messed up. I stopped acting like a leader. I let my team down. I didn't come back because I didn't feel like I was good enough for you." Vic blinked a couple times. Wow. All right. Well, you probably know where Nixie is? Yeah, she's a novelist in Metropolis. And Ray? I don't know about any of the other Titans. Well, I've kept in contact over the years. Let me talk to the others and... how can I get in touch? Rich pulled out his wallet, rifled through it, and then pulled out a small white card and gave it to Vic. "You have a card? What do you do?" "I'm an insurance salesman." Vic snorted, then full-on laughed. An insurance salesman? You have a desk job?" Rich couldn't help but smile at his old friend's mirth. Yeah, I know. Not exactly the ideal job for a former superhero, but hey, I needed a job. Yeah, well, I built a bar. And Nixie wrote a book. You had to think, she started writing fan fiction about Rach and Gar. Yep. They both looked at each other, an unspoken joke between them. Well, I've got to be off. Got to get home to Karen. Karen? Oh, yeah, Karen is Bumblebee. Oh! You two got married? Yeah, I had an invitation for you, but I didn't know where you were. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. I know you guys could have used me on the team. I was selfish not to come back. Dick, it's fine. I understand. I'm honestly still a little sore, but we did fine. Before I leave, who took over? Well, mostly me in the beginning, but after a while, BB and Nix really took charge, and they led the team as a duo for the last couple of years before we broke up. Rich looked at him thoughtfully for a few seconds. Did they do well? They led the team for 2.5 years. They did really well. Good. Well, I'm off. Gotta get home. My fiance's literally gonna kill me. I told her I'd start getting home early, and it's after 3. Yeah. Why are you out so late? I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie. I started fighting on the underground boxing circuit. You're an underground boxer? Man, I would go off on you, but I have to get home. We will continue this later, alright? Rich looked at his friend, then held out his hand. Vic took it, and smiling, said, "Good to see you again, bird brain." Rich chuckled. "Same here, bucket of bolts." They walked to their cars and drove off. That is the end of this story. At least this chapter of the story. So, it was a little weird, but I hadn't written anything in quite a while, so I was a little rusty, and I had to incorporate things I'd never done before, including writing a story that had 2 sentences of Beast Boy. And I normally write pure Beast Boy. So it was interesting to tackle something different. But yeah, I hope you liked it. This is actually, what I'm saying right now is very, very similar to my my author's note that I ended the chapter with. But at any rate, I hope you liked it. Check out our pages, please. Everybody else is awesome. I'm a nerdy geek whose writing style really only matured within the last 1.5 years, and it's still in the process. So it's kind of wonky right now. But oh yeah, for any of you who want to know who the heck Nixie, she is K-Bunny 10's original character. She puts her in her stories, and I really, as soon as we got K-Bunny onto the team, I immediately went, I'm like, can we put Nix in, please? And she's like, I would love it! So I put Nix in. And I was so happy. And that thing I mentioned about Nix writing fan fiction, that's one of Kim's stories. K-Bunny stories. It's a funny story. It's one of her first stories that I ever read, actually. But anyway, so yeah, just let us know rather what you thought of the story, whether it was my reading or the story you read. By rating it, you can't do that, but by reviewing it, commenting, liking, subscribing, please, just that kind of thing. We would love it if we could get a bunch of publicity from all of this. So if you would please just subscribe and tell people about us if you liked it. So yeah, that's that. And I don't think I have anything else to say. I gotta go edit this so all those annotations and stuff are in there, but thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. And have a nice day, and goodbye.